You said this morning that you are becoming, quote, more confident in your ability to deliver a hydrogen aeroplane by 2035. Guillaume, the physics and the chemistry is incredibly complicated. What gives you that confidence?
The physics is complicated, but the physics works. Hydrogen technologies are not new. They are used in other sectors. We use them in space on our rockets. And we don't need the laws of physics to change to be able to use hydrogen on our planes. So every day we become more confident, but we think we need to have a plane, we need to have the right fuels, the hydrogen available in the right quantity at the right place at the right time, and we need the regulations to be ready. So we really need the work and the collaboration of many people around the globe to make it happen, and that's why we have the summit to create that momentum and make sure we have the right level of collaboration to make it happen on time.
What problems do you still need to solve? What needs fixing? And what kind of aircraft should we be thinking about? Is this kind of a turboprop-sized aircraft, a smaller aircraft, or are we thinking about a replacement for the A320 family?
The technology needs to be introduced in planes, in aviation, so we need to be able to deliver the fuel at the airport, to use the plane on board, to store it, to burn it or to use it in a fuel cell. There's a lot at stake at the moment. We are looking at those technologies, so it's not really about solving problems. It's about understanding the way we can use the different technologies and then selecting the right ones. When it comes to the planes themselves, hydrogen has different characteristics compared to kerosene. There is a higher weight density of hydrogen compared to kerosene, so it's good from the weight standpoint, but it takes more volume for the same quantity of energy. So the planes will have probably a different shape, a different architecture, and we will use less hydrogen in terms of weight, less hydrogen on board than with kerosene. So we believe we're going to start with short and mid-range aircraft before it goes to longer distances. So rather smaller airplanes at the beginning, which is also something reasonable to consider when you look at the investment that will be required. So smaller investment for smaller planes, easier go-to-market, and more convenient when it comes to the use of hydrogen.
Guillaume, we were just chatting about the North Atlantic and figuring out exactly what kind of impacts President Biden's decision to reopen the North Atlantic is going to have. What is your perspective on this? When do you think that we're going to start seeing the reopening translating into new orders, new wide-body orders for Airbus?
You make a very good connection between the reopening of the North Atlantic and the wide-body situation. Actually, what we see at the moment is a recovery on domestic flights or regional flights, and therefore the production increase at Airbus on the narrow bodies, on the single-aisle business, the A320 family, but we're still at a very low pace when it comes to wide bodies. It's the beginning of a process. I hope that the reopening of the North Atlantic will trigger other positive news when it comes to long-distance flights. But it's a bit premature, so we are very happy to see this first milestone. That was the most important one and probably the easier to get on the long distance situation. So very good news for the industry. We need to get it right. I think this is going to be okay. It's very important for the US and European airlines. Will very much help in general in the path to recovery. So we are very happy with it.
Guillaume, some in the market are starting to believe that you will easily beat your 600 delivery target for this year. I'm wondering, though, whether actually supply chain issues could end up having quite a negative impact. What are you seeing in the supply chain right now? Any chip shortages, any material shortages? What do you think the energy crisis in Europe is going to mean? Do you think you're going to have any impact from that?
Actually, we continue to operate in a very challenging, complex and unpredictable environment. We've delivered roughly 300 planes in the first half, so 600 for the full year is something that really makes sense from our perspective. The supply chain situation is challenging. They're really in a difficult spot, as I said earlier. We're working very closely with the supply chain. We're happy of what has been achieved in the last 18 months against the backdrop of this incredible crisis. But now that we start to ramp up, we see some difficulties. Our suppliers have challenges in accessing raw material, including on the prices of raw material, to reopen plants, to rehire or hire people for the ramp up. In this challenging situation, it's not easy. And we are prudent when it comes to the speed of recovery of our production. So again, we believe the 600 target we have given to ourselves is a realistic one.